Welcome to the Missouri Baptist University Women's Basketball Coaches Show. I'm Harry Schrader. Head coach Iris Dixon is with us. And you guys have had some really nice wins and struggled at some times, and you have a little bit of a gap here in some games. So when you have an opening like that in your schedule, what do you guys take time to do? Is this about conditioning? Is it about fundamentals? Is it about game prep for the next week? How do you focus on a long time up between games?
It's about all of it, and it's a perfect time for us to work on all those things, the fundamental things, the conditioning, because we don't have a game this week, to work on preparation for our upcoming opponent, to get in that mental mindset that let's take this week to really focus on the things that we are struggling with, and so it's a good week, one that I think we probably need it. Coming off a couple losses, and just to refocus and get back to the basics.
You so remade the roster this year that I'm sure you're still figuring out which pieces go where. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, a lot of new people coming in, still trying to find the chemistry with everybody. Have done a couple of different starting lineups here and there, still playing around with it a little bit. Just really trying to find that group that's going to get us started, that group that's going to maintain, and that group that's going to finish for us. And, right now we're just, like I say, still this week is a good week for us to really hone in on that and try to narrow that down in terms of who those key individuals are.
I like when Wilborn comes off the bench rather than start. Seems like she has a little bit more energy. Are there players like that are better off the bench versus starting, or is that just a myth us media people make up?
I think that was, we had the same observation. She hasn't been getting us going, starting, and I made a decision to bring her off the bench, and, that happened with quite a few of the girls. And so we need that spark to get us going, and then we can get people to come in there and maintain, and then to finish, and that give us a balance. But if we can't get going, that's where we struggle. Maintaining, I don't foresee a huge problem with that. Finishing, maybe a little bit, because we have struggled to finish in some games. But adjusting the starting lineup to bring people off the bench, because they have not been giving us that spark that we need at the tip-off.
I talk about those sparks. The other night, Amanda Scott was terrific, and she's had games when she has just been dominant in the low post.
Yeah, absolutely. She came off the bench. She had a phenomenal game, and the game against Lindenwood Belleville, everybody was contributing. Everybody was playing, and they made their runs. We got into a rut where we started fouling and let them back into the game, and thus they came back and won it.
When I look at your team, and like we were talking about all the new pieces, got a freshman post player that every once in a while she looks like she's really ready to take that next step, and then she kind of looks like a freshman again. And you got to give her enough time and enough rope to kind of progress along, don't you?
Yeah, and again, this week is a perfect week for us to work on some fundamentals with her. I think she's going to be a great asset for us. It's just a matter of her getting comfortable, getting confident, and being able to control her motor a little bit, because she likes to go, but sometimes it can be a little bit out of control. So this week we're doing a lot of individual work. Working with her specifically in the post area, but she can also play that stretch four, and really just focusing on doing a lot of shooting, focusing on playing defense without fouling. So we're working on a lot of basics.
Do you see that little smile on her face? There's all kinds of things going on behind there when you're thinking about those drills. And
oh yeah.
People say all the time that college basketball is all about guards, about guard play. Talk about your backcourt a little bit and the progress. Again, it's a relatively new backcourt for you guys. Just talk about the progress of your backcourt being able to take your team forward.
Well, we have struggled with inside play for the past few years. We have some individuals who can step in and be a factor, and we want to try to work the ball inside, let them take advantage, and if we can get that going, that opens up the outside. Working with our guards, we did a phenomenal job taking care of the ball against Lindenwood Belleville. I think we did a phenomenal job, period, in the game until that stretch. And I keep going back to Lindenwood Belleville because it's one of those that's still stuck in my side. I just can't get it out.
I hear you.
But we took care of the ball. We shot well. Didn't shoot well from the free throw line, but we didn't really get to the free throw line. But we put them on the free throw line 38 times. So, we take all of those elements and we look at that and we go back and it's like, okay, here's where, we lost that game. Here's where it changed for us. And so, again, trying to get the individuals, between the guards and the bigs on the inside, trying to get that balance. And I think once we can figure that out, we'll be a much better team than what we are.
Are you happy with the blend between 3-point attempts and 2-point attempts? What I mean is you guys don't take very many threes.
Right, we don't. We are not a three-point shooting team per se. If the opportunity is there, and the shooters, have that good look, they take that. But
Who would be your top 3-point shooters?
I
Give me a
would
couple
say
of them.
Shaylin Robinson, number 3. I would say number 3. Amanda Rowden, number 20.
She had a couple the other night.
Yeah, Bria Wilborn, number 10. She can shoot the 3. Jessica Moore, she can shoot the 3 as well. But I would prefer, the easy basket, because when you make a bad decision, especially from the 3-point line, it turns into,
Those are weird rebounds then, and
yeah, it turns into a fast break for the opponent. And so if we can, maybe limit those amount of shots and focus on the more impactful shots, the 2 points, layups, mid-range, short-range shots, then, I like it better that way.
But you're right about Shaylin. She can, when she's on, she's got long range.
Yeah, she does. She has long range, and really she's the one that kind of kept us in the game. We were fouling there at the end against Lindenwood Belleville, and she's the one that came down and it just, right in a row, hit, 1, 2, 3 threes, and it's just, I'm thinking to myself, well, what happened early on? So, but, we got it, we needed them, and she was able to deliver, so.
When I watch you guys play, you're the general of the team, and Sam Pearson, your assistant, is kind of an emotional guy, and in a good way, meaning like he's really trying to pump everybody up. Just talk about his role.
He brings a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, definitely a lot of positivity to the team. Really kind of taking up, that role. Because as you know, when you're in that main seat, it's everything falls on your shoulder, and so he kind of takes some of that away, and being that assistant, and kind of combating some of the issues or some of the gripes or complaints, making sure that girls are doing what they're supposed to do, before it gets to my attention, and he, like I said, he knows the game, and offers great input. While we're sitting there on the bench and then in practices as well. So definitely a good asset to the team.
I was watching a college game the other night. I was at the game, and the player comes off, and the coach kind of says something to the player who doesn't react properly, and then the assistant coach just killed the kid, meaning just really got in the player's face. There's a balance between the role you and Sam and Isaiah or whoever else is on your bench has to play.
Right, definitely a balance. Most times when the kids come off the floor, may not always have something to say to them. And, females are a little bit different in the game of basketball. They want to know everything. And it's just the matter of that, having Sam there and having Isaiah there. When they come off the bench, if I don't say something specifically to them, they will pick up the slack, because we're all on the same page. I'm still focusing on the game, what's going on, thinking about, probably 10 different things that's going on the floor versus, someone coming off, and my assistants knowing what's going on, why they may have come off, or if it's just, okay, we need to get a substitution, and so they can, hey, this is what's going on. Now let's refocus and pay attention to the game. So
the American Midwest Conference may be the best NAIA women's basketball conference in the country. You're not deep into conference season, but you played a couple of games. This is an extremely difficult league to play in.
Extremely difficult, and we've known that for the past couple of years, and it's gotten better. Next week we're playing Lyon, who's number 8. We played Lindenwood Belleville, who now is in the rankings, and of course, again, that thorn is still there on the side that they're in the rankings now, and
you could have had them,
and we could have had them,
right?
I look at William Woods, who's also receiving votes, and we got off to a slow start with them, and that game I thought could have been a different outcome had we been ready to go from the get-go, but it wasn't. And so it's one of those you look back and say, we shoulda, we coulda, we woulda, but we didn't. And so now we need to focus and move forward for our next opponents. Again, Lyon being number 8 coming in, and then CBC, who's not to be taken for granted as well. So definitely tough. Other opponents in our conference, number 1, Freed Hardeman, Columbia College. So it's a very tough conference.
Do you spin that back to your girls and say, listen, these are 2 top-ranked teams, and we maybe could have beat that team, should have beaten that team. We belong. I mean, do you spin that back to them that way?
I tried to. I haven't yet. I just
You want me to come in and talk to them?
sure.
Okay,
You
no.
know, I'm always open for someone to come in because they're always hearing my voice, and you know, someone else come in to maybe reiterate, like, you know, okay, this is what's going on. So, but I do, and you know, I haven't got a chance to do that. The rankings, you know, came out yesterday, and I haven't had a chance to really go over that. But in our next couple of days of practice, that will be something that is mentioned. And you know, how do we move forward from that, especially playing against the number 8 team in the nation coming up with Lyon.
We look forward Thursday night next week against Lyon College. Should be a great matchup at Spartan Hall. That's head coach Iris Dixon. I'm Harry Schrader. You've been watching the Women's Basketball Coaches Show here from Missouri Baptist University on the Spartan Digital Network.